Justin Herbert is Rookie of the Year. And welcome in everyone to another edition of the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show. It's great to be here with all of you today. We have a really exciting show here touching on all the major sports, including football as well as with baseball. We have a lot of news in there with the playoffs. But first of all, bringing Gavin Tony in here. Gavin, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Zach. Sorry about that. I'm getting my links out, but you're right. Baseball is crazy right now. The Rays have a 2-0 commanding lead over the Astros, who should be there in the first place, by the way. And four runs for the Braves. Can't wait to get into that. But Zach, I'm doing great. How about you, though?
I'm good. And Clayton Kershaw was just scratched from tonight's game, so the possibility of falling down 0-2 to Atlanta is very possible. We could be potentially looking at a Braves-Rays World Series. It's going to be an exciting one to watch. It's possible that back-to-back years an NL East team wins the World Series, and it's not the Philadelphia Phillies, but we'll have to get to that another time. But just
Speaking
quickly,
of Phillies, Zach, sorry to cut you off. Joe Girardi joined Instagram. So don't you think you're Joe Girardi on his Instagram? Because I'll be in his comment section defending him. So don't try that stuff. Now, Matt Klenchak, I allow it.
I'm not sure if Matt Klentak has a Instagram, but that's soon to be figured out.
Good.
Well, some breaking news here on the show, as we've just found out a couple hours ago, the board of Philadelphia, the Philadelphia Eagles, have officially announced they will allow fans into the stadium, including this Sunday against the Baltimore Ravens. Not really a great matchup for this team at all, but 7,500 fans will be allowed in. I'm trying to figure out right now if I'm going to find a way to possibly go to some of these games. We have a Thursday night game coming up against the Giants, a short week coming up, so we'll have to see what happens here. It's just some quick information to bring out there. Again, this pandemic far from over, but it's nice to see safe return to normalcy, as well as including some fans returning to the stadiums. It's exciting to see. A lot of teams, a lot of cities, a lot of states are starting to go back this course of having limited fans in the stadium and possibly one day back to full, assuming that the time is right and that people are confident in that. But for the time being, I'll take 7,500 fans over nothing.
Well, Zach, first of all, I hope we get to go to a game. That would be pretty interesting to watch all that garbage. I mean, excuse me, the Eagles on Sunday or in person. But Zach, also too, the Braves and Dodgers had over 11,000 fans in Texas Stadium last night. So they're letting fans in Texas, not so much in San Diego. But you're right. It's good to see fans being allowed back into stadiums, especially outdoor stadiums. Zach, my biggest question is, what are they going to do for indoor stadiums? Obviously, you can't get fresh air in. I don't want to call it recycled air, but it is recycled air. I want to see the Sixers this year. I want to see Doc Rivers in person. I want to see Joel Embiid in person. I would love to see LeBron lose in person. And I would love to see Steph Curry in person this year. So what do you think we're going to get when it comes to basketball?
I think they said it was going to be reevaluated in February, but originally that was for all fans. And now that they've reverted course because of the governor's orders, it appears that conversation is surely open. I can see opening day having a 15 to 20% capacity for sure.
We're going to see what happens. I'm excited. Things are starting to look up for sports fans, and you're going to be able to go to the games pretty soon. Zach, I'm looking forward, hopefully, going to the Eagles game this year. I don't know if I'm going to enjoy it as much because the production we're seeing every Sunday, but it's just going to be good to get back in there.
No doubt, I agree, and I'm hoping for it at some point. We'll continue to supply updates here on the show as we learn more about the situation, as well as with the Sixers, with the Flyers, with all under indoor stadiums. We still have yet to hear about the schedule with pretty much everything, whether it be with when the Sixers start or when the preseason is. We don't know what it's going to look like, so we'll have to see that. But coming up here next, it is official that the Titans game tonight is on. I know that was one of the questions here in the comments. We'll hit on that. Here's one of our topics before we get to Monday Night Football. Tuesday Night Football. Last time this happened was when the Eagles and the Vikings game was postponed due to snow a few years back. It was supposed to be a Sunday night game, ended up being played on Tuesday, I believe. So it's going to be the first time in a while. We're going to see some weird stuff this year. We knew that. Titans are going to be playing at home against the Bills. There have been no tested positives, I guess, over the past 3 days. And it's squared away tonight. MVP candidate Josh Allen also out there tonight to possibly outduel Ryan Tannehill and the Titans. We'll see what's going to happen. I mean, the Titans and the Bills, respectively, they have different talents. And the Bills have a great defense. The Titans have a great run game. So we have to see what's going to happen. It's going to happen tonight, the game that is. And I'm looking forward to it. Gavin, what are some of your thoughts here on this game coming up?
It's going to be sloppy football from the Titans. And Zach, we haven't seen them in almost 3 weeks, to be honest with you, Zach. I don't expect much from the Titans offense tonight. What I mean by that is they're going to score. They're going to get maybe 2 or 3 touchdowns. They're going to put 21 points on the board. But when it comes to them actually winning the game, they're going to be sloppy. They're going to be rusty. Yes, they're going to be fresh. Zach, you haven't taken a hit in 2 weeks, 2 3 weeks. But look at it, Zach. Look at it from this point. 2 to 3 weeks, you haven't been able to get into your facility until now and get film. And your guys, a lot of people can you know, lose your momentum. It's a rhythm. You gotta be in a rhythm to play. These guys are 3-0 before you they lost. They stopped playing. So Zach, I want to put this out here. When I say I'm rolling with the Bills tonight, all right. What I mean by that is the Bills are red hot. They're on fire right now. They haven't missed a beat. They haven't missed a game. They have not missed anything. This Titans team is going to be a wreck because, like I said, Zach, you haven't played football in 2 3 weeks, and you're going to lose rhythm. Yeah, you're undefeated, but it doesn't matter when you haven't played in a long time.
Yeah, no doubt. And they won the close game against the Jacksonville Jaguars, which shouldn't have happened. Your defense has not been good this year at all. I think it's going to be an ugly game for them. Like you said, I'm expecting some injuries tonight. I think that it is stupid to play this game when your guys can't conjugate, at least according to the league's notice. I mean, that a lot of them did practice together at a high school about last week, which is one of the super spreading events for the Titans. I think that it's really stupid of the league, and it kind of shows what they care about more, which obviously is going to be money and views, and we shouldn't be surprised. But I think it's risky for a lot of players to come out there tonight. I think it's really stupid for the Titans to be able to go out there. I think the Titans should be punished. I think that 100% they should be punished for their irresponsibility. They broke protocol, and that's definitively been obvious for this event. They got a game postponed last week with the Steelers. It caused a whole lot of schedules to be moved, including Thursday Night Football with the Chiefs and the Bills. But we know that they're going to want more views. We know they're going to move games around. That's fine with me. But the Titans are going to be rusty tonight. It's going to show, and I think the Bills easily take this victory.
Well, this is where I had to get on Roger Goodell because you should know you're a full contact sport. You should know this was going to happen regardless. Like this is one of my Zach, you remember back earlier in the show, early shows, I was saying I don't see this football season happening. Well, Zach, this is part of my fear is you're going to get the teams that are going to have the breakouts. It's like baseball has to run its course. But the thing is baseball ran its course and they were back on the field, Magic City Marlins. They were back on the field within 3 to 4 days. Philly's a little bit longer because it took a little bit while. But and they didn't have any positive tests. But Zach, it took this team 2 weeks to get back on the field, and it ruined a lot of team schedules. And what I mean by that is you had to take an early bye. Not a lot of people like to take an early bye. Some people like later buys, like a week 10, where you can get your guys back healthy, you can get ready for the last half of the season. If I'm Roger Goodell, I wouldn't put into a schedule where whatever game that was canceled will be played on later weeks. Zach, we mentioned this before. Week 18, there will be a week 18. Whatever games that was canceled will be there. And if there's too many games for week 18, we'll put you in a week 19. I don't see this going. There's not going to be a February Super Bowl. It's going to be a later Super Bowl, in my honest opinion. There's going to be a shutdown coming for the NFL because flu season's right around the corner, and these guys play outside, and not everybody is the cleanest, and the flu season always the deadliest season time of year. So you mix the flu with this virus, it's going to be a mess for the NFL.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think to the extent new ringtone today, but to the extent of that, I think that I don't think that it's going to be canceled or postponed, but I do think some teams are going to face some serious consequences.
Do you think Roger Goodell dropped the ball and not punishing the Titans?
I wouldn't say that. You know the logistics of the situation, unfortunately. But I do think that they need to set some stricter protocols. Like with the Marlins, they refused to do that, unfortunately. And then you take a look at some of these other situations with the Steelers. It's unfortunate for them that they had to miss that game. Bye weeks are you don't practice. Like you're supposed to take the whole week off and relax. And unfortunately, they did practice the entire week. And that's a big problem. So they're not going to get a week this year where they don't have to practice. And yeah, they're making a lot of money. Oh, poor players, this and that. But health and safety is still important.
Health and safety is still important, but Zach, remember at the same time, when it comes about money, that's when you start to lose, people like me and a lot of others. They did have an opt-in, opt-out choice. When it comes to the opt-in, opt-out choice, you had a choice in whether you wanted to play or you didn't want to. You had Marquise Goodwin say he didn't want to play, and you had guys like anyone on the Patriots defense that want to play. Remember, guys, Zach, 9 players on the Patriots defense said they didn't want to play. A lot of them were stars too. So we don't want it when it comes to that aspect. You guys had your chance. You guys said you wanted to roll with the punches and play, so you're being punched right now. Roll with it. Roll with it. You had a chance to opt out. You said no, you wanted to play, so roll with the punches.
I agree there. And so here, our next topic to discuss, Gavin, I'm sure you're not too thrilled with this. Honestly, as I said before, Justin Herbert looks great. Honestly, I mean, Joe Burrow's good. Justin Herbert certainly has more talent around him and a better situation than that of Joe Burrow. But right now, is there any reason to believe that Justin Herbert is not going to be the Rookie of the Year?
Well, Zach, Justin Herbert came close multiple times to winning games. He should have. His first game, when he found out he was starting within 15 minutes of game time, he goes out and takes the defending champs to 15. He takes them to overtime actually, and he's able to beat them or almost beat them in overtime. Loses. Then you come out versus the Bucks, and you light up Tom Brady, but you still lose. And then last night, your offense was, or your defense was bullying Drew Brees, and Drew Brees' experiences came out and overshowed. But Justin Herbert, Zach, is not wrong if you want to call Justin Herbert the guy for Rookie of the Year. I think he could do it, honestly, in my honest opinion. Justin Herbert is a special talent. And Zach, I was number one critic of saying I don't think Justin Herbert should have went before Jalen Hurts. Maybe Justin Herbert was the right choice. Maybe the Chargers are proving me wrong, but he has nice pieces around him. Zach, I gotta ask you, my major question for you is, they didn't change anything to that offense except for losing Melvin Gordon. Was Phillip Rivers really that bad? Is he that bad, or was it just a bad fit there?
Turnovers. Through too many picks in bad situations. They were in a lot of close games last year, and 1 or 2 turnovers can really hurt you. You've seen that with the Eagles this year.
And missed field goals too. You want to talk about the Eagles, but we're not going to get into the Eagles talk today because that's
not today at least. But no, yeah, turnovers are a big issue for them, and you've seen with the Colts now it's starting to hurt a little bit as they continue to progress through their season. But coming up here after this, coming up here after this, we're going to be talking about the MLB again. We touched on that earlier in the show with the Braves and the Rays. They could possibly meet in the World Series. It's both potentially, one's already up 2-0, one could also go up 2-0 tonight. We're going to break that down as well as one more topic after this. We are now offering a new product on our Teespring. Wear a mask in public. We are now supporting a custom designed mask with our logo on it. Purchase it today, and 10% goes to a foundation of our viewers' choice. It offers a full nose and mouth coverage, single-sided print, includes 2 2-inch elastic ear loops, non-medical grade product, and finally, $1 from every mask sale is donated to a nonprofit to feed children in need. Enjoy today's episode. Welcome back here on the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show. At some point, we'll have to rock those masks at an Eagles game. We'll hope so sooner than later, as they just announced that they'll be having 7,500 fans. But like we mentioned, we're not going to get too much into Philadelphia Eagles sports today. But Gavin, Braves won Game 1. They didn't only win it; they exploded, and it was tied 1-1 for the longest time. The Braves really attacked towards the end to claim Game 1 against arguably the best offense in baseball. We've praised the Dodgers a lot on the show. We spoke about before the season that they're one of the favorites. Yankees have already fallen. Are the Dodgers next?
Zach, there's a clear-cut possibility that the Dodgers will be next, and here's why. I'm going to go back to Game 1. Game starts off with a Freddie Freeman home run. I think NL MVP. Zach, you could tell me yes or no. Then Max Fried, or Fried, I like to call him Fried, but I think it's pronounced Fried. Max Fried comes out with 9 to 8 strikeouts. He dominated the Dodgers offense. He kind of neutralized them. He gave up 1 home run, but that's just to Kike Hernandez. That was going to happen. I expected it. But the turning point to this game, Zach, was not putting Kenley Jansen in to close the game. You put Blake Trinan in, and the first pitch to Austin Riley was just a moonshot. Then Marcelo Zuna gets on and knocks home another Ronald Acuna Jr. who was scored, and then Ozzie Albies comes up and hits a 2-run shot, which will ultimately put the Dodgers to rest. Zach, Dave Roberts proved something last night, that he should have put Kenley Jansen, and you need to trust Kenley Jansen. I know Kenley Jansen hasn't been effective since we know him since recent years, but damn it, I still think Kenley Jansen is arguably the best closer in baseball. And you didn't go with him last night, and that's going to hurt. And there's no Kershaw today either. Please, this Braves offense, Zach, when we talked about the offenses and we talked about the Yankees, we talked about the Dodgers, the Braves talk, where's our damn respect? They got our attention.
Yeah, I wonder who else said some damn respect, but we'll touch on that a little bit later. You're right, Gavin.
We're not worried about who said that. We're not worried about who said that.
You know what? We got the purple and gold
That's
behind
right.
us for a couple more days this week. But now here,
You know what?
getting back to it, Clayton Kershaw out tonight. It's going to be a big one. Do you think that the Dodgers find a way to explode offensively tonight to be able to outmatch the the Braves, or do you think the Braves are able to capitalize off the injuries?
Zach, this is going to make it hard for the Dodgers offense. They could win this game, but here's the thing. If Clayton Kershaw was playing, you would know you would have a little bit of time before you had to start scoring runs. The Dodgers got to come out and scoring runs quickly, and I'm talking like third inning, maybe even second inning. That's how fast they come out the jump. The Braves started off quickly with a Freddie Freeman bomb. Zach, I think tonight the Dodgers lose. The Braves go up 2-0 after this, but it's going to be a long fight back, and arguably the best player in baseball, in my honest opinion, and at least Mookie Betts is going to have to show out. All right, Zach, you spent all this money every year. The Dodgers you had Manny Machado, you had Brian Dozier, you had Yu Darvish 1 year. You still can't win. At one point you got to look at it and say, is it Dave Roberts? Because every year you underperform. You shouldn't have lost the Nationals last year, but you did.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, they've had an abundance of issue. Again, they've been involved in arguably two cheating scandals with Boston and Houston, but at the time, no one knew. At least I hope that the front office for Dodgers wouldn't have known. So you should scratch your head and say maybe it's time to make some changes here. Remember the Toronto Raptors firing the coach of the year in Dwayne Casey, and he went to the Pistons, and they've been a mess, unfortunately, but he's still a good coach in my opinion. They bring up his assistant, Nick Nurse, and they bring Kawhi Leonard, and they made the big decision. They made the big push, and it paid off, and now they're once again a playoff team. Right, and so I think that might be a potential option for the Dodgers if they can't pull off this series.
I mean, I don't want Dave Roberts to get fired. I like Dave Roberts, but countless times again, you just come up short every year.
There's no definitely coming up here.
Now you got Mookie Betts.
Coming up here with Gavin's favorite, Blake Snell. I mean, we spoke about him all year. He's had some home runs off him, but now the Rays are in a good position. They are up 2-0 in their series currently over the Houston cheating Astros. I'm sure every sports fan altogether. Now, me personally, I want to see the Astros go back without cheating, but we all are kind of liking this. This is kind of their punishment if they lose this series. It's the punishment that the MLB and Rob Manfred decided not to give them. But Gavin, the Rays pulling off Game 2. Are the Rays a serious threat to not only beat the Astros but potentially win the World Series?
Yes, they are, and here's why. It's not who you think it is. It's the little guys. It's the guys that you. It's not G-Man Choi coming up big. It's Randy Alkin. I can't say his last name, but it's Randy Alkin. Zach, I sent it to you yesterday. I sent that to you, and I can't pronounce his last name. Forgive me, ladies and gentlemen. Yesterday, Robbie Margot had a 3-run home run, right? And then he did a spectacular, arguably catch of the year, ladies and gentlemen, where he goes diving over the right field wall, flipped, looks scary for a second. He holds on. And Mike Zunino with a blast, and I'm talking 459 feet, blast, deep center field. This series is over, ladies and gentlemen. Altuve had a horrible error to set up that 3-run shot. But Zach, you know what makes this team? You know what this team reminds you of? It reminds you of last year's Nationals team. You have 3 strong pitchers: Morton, Glasnow, and Blake Snell.
And you get hot at the end.
You get hot at the end, and your bullpen gets confidence, and it's going to be scary. This Rays team is no joke. They took down, arguably, Zach, we praised the Yankees offense. They took them down easily.
Mm-hmm. They did.
Game 7, but they did it. And they got little guys helping up and stepping up to the plate and just destroying.
They did their job, that's for sure. We'll continue to cover that and more, but coming up after this, way too early NBA power rankings. Yes, we're already on to the 2021 season, which Gavin the King may win it next year, but we'll talk about that after this.
Would you like to know how you can support the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show? If so, head down to the comments on our YouTube channel. You will see 2 links there. The first is our Teespring, where you can see a wide variety of apparel products, including our signature product, the More Than Philly Sports Talk Show sweatshirts, offered in a variety of different colors, including gray, navy blue, and more. Finally, we have our Patreon page, where you can become a monthly donation member. 10% of all donations go towards an organization of our viewers' choice. We hope that you enjoyed today's episode, and if you can't donate, that's okay, because you can always share this.
I'm sorry, we cut you off at the end there, Gavin. What were you saying?
I was saying that's not going to happen. And Zach, I got the Rays guy that's been killing his name, Randy Alzanera. Hope I said that right. But he's been on a tear. But going back to basketball, that's not happening. Come on now, you know better.
All right, well, NBA early power rankings are out. We're going to read them and get our first reactions here from the ESPN article. Without a doubt, number one, the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, of course, the big question there, where's Anthony Davis going to sign in this offseason? I think it's pretty obvious he's staying in LA. I hope they can get something else, some more talent there because they need it. The fact that they're able to win the NBA title was astounding, and whether or not it's the bubble environment or that's how great LeBron James and Anthony Davis are. But they have some nice role pieces who stepped up. But I can't trust that Rondo, who's getting older, is going to be as reliable as he's been. KCP really came into his own this year. A couple other guys really helped out. But they got to get a more reliable shooting guard. I like Danny Green. He's had a great career, great history, but they have to go out and make some moves in the offseason. Not even having to make the big moves, but Gavin, what are your thoughts here on the Lakers? Not only being number one, but what they can be next year.
So it continues, huh? All right, guess so. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, calm down. All right, it's a little too early to call about Lakers next season. All right, so Zach, you can throw your little LeBron James party hat into the closet. All right, because the season's over. Live your little moment right now, and then throw that stuff in the garbage because it's not happening next year. Regarding Anthony Davis, he might stay, he might not stay. You never know. He might stay, but remember, Zach, it's how long LeBron stays. Kyrie Irving left town quickly because he knew LeBron was leaving. He didn't want to be stuck with that garbage. But you're right. Rajon Rondo's getting older. Rajon Rondo's a phenomenal playoff player. He doesn't like to be called that, but it's true. He rises to the occasion. Danny Green, I don't know. I think he needs to go back to playing with Kawhi Leonard. Didn't really look well in the playoffs. He was hot and cold. But Zach, they need to get a better shooting guard. I agree with you. And KCP did come into his own. But it kind of revolves around where Anthony Davis goes. If he stays or if he leaves, you never know what AD's going to do.
I agree. And that garbage you just called LeBron James and Anthony Davis took and won the NBA Finals. And, you call it garbage yourself, they would do it. But you know what? That's all right.
Listen, look. Anthony Davis is really top 5. Keep forgetting.
He is, probably. You're right.
Yeah. Maybe number one.
What's going on? We do have to go on to our next one here. We'll get back to that in a minute if we have to. No surprise here, the Los Angeles Clippers, arguably they should be the favorites to win the title next year in a normal environment. We don't know who their head coach is going to be, right? They have yet to name one. They fired Doc Rivers, obviously, who's now in Philly. But what are you thinking?
Happy birthday, Doc, by the way. Today's Doc Rivers' birthday.
It is his birthday. Happy birthday, Glenn, as he said, because there's only one Doc in Philly, but there can be two because he can arguably take us to a championship. But not yet earning that name, but Gavin, Los Angeles Clippers today at number 2.
Zach, you know how high I was on the Clippers, right? You know how high I was until Paul George hit backboard. Listen, I think this is too high for the Clippers, and here's why. After what I saw to the Nuggets, I don't like what I see from the Clippers anymore. They don't have a dominant scorer. Kawhi Leonard, you're supposed to rise to the occasion. You folded. Paul George, you were supposed to hit threes, not backboards. And Zach, they're in danger of losing Marcus Morris and Montrezl Harrell. You got to get these guys back, and ultimately, you got to get another guy. And you're right, Zach, we don't know who the head coach is going to be. Is it Tyronn Lue? Who's it going to be? Is it going to be Mike D'Antoni? I know he's not on the radar, but is it going to be Mike D'Antoni? Maybe. We don't know. But they could win next year. I mean, you're never going to count Kawhi Leonard. You can't count him out. He's a fun guy.
Yeah, no doubt. But we'll see what happens. Honestly, I think that Paul George needs to come back stronger with a vengeance. I think that's going to be a big thing for him. He's going to hope for that most definitely. I'm fine with where they sit right now. They're a good team. But like you said, Montrezl Harrell needs to come back. And the point guard position, I love Pat Bev, but they might need someone who can knock down shots often.
You got to get scored, yeah.
And then today we will read the probably the top 6 or 7. Gavin, you'll like this number 6 a lot. But before we get to the Milwaukee Bucks sitting at number 3, okay, I guess they're the favorite in the East still because of the Greek Freak. But I don't know. It's tough to put the Bucks as a top East team right now, in my opinion.
I think Giannis leaves, and I don't see. I mean, the Bucks are the best regular season team. Our great friend of the show, Don Moroso, calls Mike Budenholzer the best regular season coach. When it comes to the playoffs, underperforms. Giannis is predictable in the playoffs. Zach, this is a perfect spot. I don't see him really doing much or improving. I think they might even decline this year, my honest opinion.
And coming in here at number 4, the Denver Nuggets. I love it. I love Jamal Murray. I love Gary Harris. I love that team that they're building there. They need some more depth for sure. They just came up short against a really good Lakers team, and they really impressed in the bubble.
They came up short against Anthony Davis, and look, Zach.
Not LeBron James.
Okay, I don't think so. But
Last 2 minutes of that Western Conference game.
I don't listen, Zach. We're not talking about. We're not getting into that. We're not talking about that today. We're not talking about.
You said that LeBron James was good at finishing, and he finished in that game.
But listen, okay. Well, guess what? It's easy to finish when you got a dude that's arguably the best power forward, big man, whatever you want to call him in the game.
Well, when
look,
he's on
Zach,
the floor, does the basket become 10 feet bigger, or is it the same size?
Listen, Zach. When it comes to Nuggets, they're going to be a scary team in the future, especially when Michael Porter Jr. gets more confidence and gets better. He's going to improve, man. He was doing scary things in the bubble. And if Bol, yes, ladies and gentlemen, I'm a Bol supporter. They can get him developed even more. He looked great in a couple games he played. But, Zach, if they can get Bol developed more and Michael Porter Jr. gets improves, and maybe get another sign, maybe get another piece in the off season, might even beat Anthony Davis's Lakers.
Possibly. I like where they're going. Honestly, I like this team a lot. And so here, number 5, I like this one as well. The Dallas Mavericks. They're building a team. I think that they're just a team that needs to develop. I don't think they're really missing all that much. I think they could easily benefit from a good big man. Maybe Rudy Gobert could be a good fit there. We've mentioned that before. I like Luka Doncic in that lineup, like Seth Curry. I like a lot of the pieces they have. I think that Kristaps Porzingis, unfortunately, he got injured. But I think that with him fully healthy, with the Mavericks team healthy, another year together under their belt, but also possibly going out and getting a more dominant big man, I think they could easily make a run for the finals. I think number 5 is a good spot for them. It's a little high prematurely, but I still think they're in a good spot.
I think just a little high for the Mavericks. I will put them in the top 10. Can't ignore what Luka Doncic did and Kristaps Porzingis. Wow, New York Knicks, you really dropped the ball in that one. Look, Zach, you're right. They could get another. They need another piece. They could maybe use a true small forward, and you're right, maybe a better center. You can get a guy like Rudy Gobert because Kristaps Porzingis is a stretch. He can go on the wing and shoot the ball and go down low.
He is a 4.
He's a pure 4, old school or new school 4. But Zach, I like this team. They're gonna be fine in the long run. I don't know about finals, so maybe a little too far fetched, but they're gonna be a problem.
They shocked the world in 2012, 11. So maybe they can do it again next year. Coming in here at number 6.
Who they beat?
Kobe Bryant and the Lakers. They swept them in 4 games. You mean that one, or
who else did they beat? Who else did they beat?
They also beat the Miami Heat that year. It was their first year together.
Right.
LeBron James, second NBA Finals. But yeah,
ladies and gentlemen, I just threw an L right there. Yeah, all right.
That's fine because you think Kobe Bryant's better than him, and no disrespect to Kobe, but he also got swept by that Mavericks team.
All right, the Mavericks team was on another level.
Okay, there we go. Coming in at number 6, the Golden State Warriors. They are back.
Yes, sir.
I know you're ready. They are back. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson are going to be healthy. You have Draymond Green coming back. Maybe he'll humble himself out a little bit this year after the experience he's had in this past year. Andrew Wiggins, and possibly a top 2 pick, the second overall pick, depending on what they do with that. Steve Kerr, with that experience he has. Are the Warriors going to be back this year, Gavin? What are your expectations for this team?
You want to talk about the best player in basketball? Okay, I'm over exaggerating, but listen, the game changer is back this year, ladies and gentlemen. Steph Curry is here, and he's pissed because everybody forgot about Steph Curry. He hurt his hand. Okay, and it's not his fault. He didn't want to hurt his hand. I think arguably Steph Curry doesn't go down, and if Klay Thompson's there, this yellow and purple background wouldn't be happening. All right, because that's how good the Warriors are. And Zach, the top 2 pick. I need to go ahead and get James Wiseman, or maybe Anthony Edwards wouldn't be a bad spot, but the Warriors never really had a true center. You maybe even trade the second pick away and go get somebody else with it. You don't know what they're going to do. But, Zach, I'm excited. I'm excited for that. And, ladies and gentlemen, I'm a big Steph Curry supporter, so that's where the excitement comes from.
It's scary, the fact that most teams who get top 2 picks are utter disasters. Meanwhile, this franchise kind of just took a year off. Good year to take off, in my opinion. I'm sure they didn't foresee all this happening, but good year to take off. I will read off the last 4 teams here. The Celtics at 7, Sixers at 8, Heat at 9, Nets at 10. We'll touch on this more tomorrow, but Gavin, what are your thoughts on the Philadelphia 76ers being ranked 1 above the Miami Heat?
I think it's the right spot. Zach, look, the Sixers team isn't horrible. Actually, I kind of view them as maybe the best team coming in this year. New system, fresh mind. Maybe, hopefully, they can move Al Horford. old self. But listen, Zach, you get a coach that can use the center, that can utilize Joel Embiid, and maybe use Ben Simmons perfectly. Excuse me. Look what Doc Rivers did with Kevin Garnett, Rajon Rondo, Paul Pierce, and Ray Allen, and your favorite player, Kendrick Perkins. Zach, what is there not to like about the 6 or the 8 spot? But I do believe this is the perfect spot. Or no, you said 8 or 7.
They're the 8s. Celtics are 7. Which I like them over them right now.
I like the last 4 is perfect. All right, I'm not going to touch them, but the Sixers are going to be on an uprise this year. They're going to be better than they were last year. I promise y'all.
I hope so, man. They got to go out and get Buddy Hield or another sort of shooter. I have confidence that the front office will get that done because they have Doc Rivers there now. But with that being said, as the first 10, we'll go through the rest of them rapid fire tomorrow. We'll also break down tonight's Tuesday night football game with Ian Eagle and Charles Davis. Make sure you guys stay tuned tonight at 7 o'clock. With that being said, Gavin, any other final remarks here on the show?
Stop this whole LeBron James garbage. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's remember it was a team effort. Zach, as you always like to point it out to me.
Yeah,
all right?
It was a team effort.
Yeah, it was a team effort.
Field goal percentage.
Guess who did it? Guess who did it? Guess who did it?
Who led their team?
Anthony Davis did. You heard what Dan McKenna said earlier this morning? You heard. Shout out to Dan McKenna if you're watching this. You're right. And Finals MVP. You're right. Statistically, it might not have been there, but impact.
Based on precedent, it's always based on the statistics, and LeBron had the best stats, and that's number 4.
It should be based on impact. It should be based on impact. Impact.
Come on, the Lakers were a dumpster fire before LeBron got there. They were the 4 seed when he got hurt last year.
And ladies and gentlemen, about the super team stuff, real quick before we go, Zach, I just gotta say something. Can we stop trying to kill Kevin Durant about this super team stuff when LeBron James went first?
There's nothing to kill about it. I've never personally.
No, I'm not saying you, but there's others that like to sit here and say Kevin Durant did it. Guys,
you always bring up that LeBron did it. It goes both ways. If Kevin Durant is entitled to possibly be in the running as a candidate for the best player in the world, then LeBron also can be, and then therefore, your opinion, not mine, joining a super team does not discredit you from potentially being the greatest player in the world. And LeBron James did it. Kevin Durant did it. Some guys stayed home like Kobe Bryant and brought people to them, and D Wade brought people to them. But at the same time, if that doesn't invalidate someone from being the greatest player in the world, then my opinion of LeBron James being the greatest player in the world stays valid.
And there's one last thing, Zach, and then we can argue this on a GOAT debate. We'll have to bring it back sometime this week because I know people are looking forward to it. And what I'm about to say here is going to really irritate you.
Possibly Friday.
You know what? Well, you know why Michael Jordan's really the GOAT as well? He turned around a whole franchise. The Bulls were a dumpster fire. No one respected the Bulls. And now we talk about the Bulls as the best historical team. I know not right now, but
it was an 8-year sprint. I'd say 10-year sprint.
But you can't hate on some guy you can't hate on somebody that just turned around a whole franchise.
Yeah, imagine doing that twice. 3 times.
You didn't do it. Are we talking about twice?
I'm talking about the first Cavs. I'm talking about the first time with the Cavs, the second time with the Cavs, and now with the Lakers. I wouldn't call it the
Heat. Stay with one team. Stay with a team. Stay with one team. Stay with one team.
He wanted to stay with the team. He wanted to return home and go win the title for his city.
Stop jumping ships, though. Michael Jordan never jumped ships. Kobe Bryant never jumped ships.
Kobe actually was going to be traded to the Clippers, but
okay, well, Kobe, yeah, but once again, Kobe Bryant didn't jump ships.
That was by chance. That wasn't by choice.
Well, still,
LeBron James has that kind of power where he can do that, and he
jump ships and.
If you ever heard Pat Riley's interview, he felt hurt that LeBron left. He thought they were going to really build a dynasty down there, and he made a promise to his city to go home, and he won the NBA title 2 years later.
There's no problem with that, but ladies and gentlemen,
he's jumping ship, so you got to stick with one. You got to stick with one thought here.
I did listen that there is a problem with it because when the GOAT debate, remember this, ladies and gentlemen, Michael Jordan changed the whole entire franchise.
The Lakers were a mess.
They weren't even selling out the stadiums at the point in time.
The Lakers were a mess 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
They were.
Come on, man. Lonzo Ball.
The Lakers are a historic franchise. They're historically franchised.
Magic Johnson.
They were garbage back in the day. They were respected.
LeBron James came in with Flex Seal, patched it up.
They don't care about LeBron James to go kick rocks. They didn't need LeBron James to go change the franchise. They didn't.
They were the 15th.
A little bit more respect on the franchise.
They were the 15th team in the West 3 years ago.
The Bulls were a joke.
Remember the D'Angelo? Hold on.
The Bulls were a joke. Michael Jordan.
2016, Kobe Bryant retires. Great final game for him, of course, but they missed the playoffs that year. And then next year, you got D'Angelo Russell, Julius Randle. You got the whole snitch thing go on. You trade D'Angelo Russell. That team was a sinking ship. And Magic Johnson, as smart of a guy as he is, as great of a player as he was a terrible president of that organization. And the Bush family made a significant move. When Magic Johnson shocked the world and stepped down, they brought on LeBron James the year before, right? They were the 4 seed. They went from the 4 seed just by adding LeBron James, all right, from the 15th. Hold on. And then they missed the playoffs by like 3 games. He gets hurt. He comes back for a game and he says it's not worth it and he sits down. I don't love that decision, but it was a health decision in my opinion.
It's not a championship decision right there. Keep fighting. Give up. Don't give up.
And then this year, they make some moves and then they win the NBA title. They're 3 years separated from being the basement dwellers of that conference.
Here's the one thing.
The Lakers were not relevant for once Kobe Bryant left, the Lakers were not relevant until LeBron went there.
They were still, but fans still went. Zach, there's a difference from not having any.
You're the one that insults Lakers fans every day.
People were still going to the Staples Center. They were still going there.
Because they're an iconic franchise, and guess who, when given the torch, carried?
Michael Jordan turned our whole franchise without Michael Jordan, right? Without
you make it like LeBron didn't do that in Cleveland twice.
Zach, will we be talking about the Chicago Bulls like this today? Look at them now.
Because Michael Jordan's a great player.
The last
good wrong with that.
The last good thing the Chicago Bulls ever had was Derrick Rose, right? I wish Derrick Rose never got hurt. Zach, you know me. I love Derrick Rose. We were watching Derrick Rose highlights before the show one day. But ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot of mixtures to being a GOAT. And this guy jumping teams, and you could say, yeah, winning championships with different teams, but we're not going to say act like the Heat were trash when he left, because they weren't. We're not going to say act like the Heat were bad when he joined, because they weren't. The only team that was bad.
The Cavs were an absolute dumpster fire.
The Cavs were decent.
After he left,
they were decent.
The past 2 years, the Cavs
they were
decent. Irrelevant.
They were decent. They still had somebody there.
You're telling me the Cleveland Cavaliers, after LeBron James left, this most recent time, were decent? Weren't they the 15th or 14th seed? Didn't they have back-to-back lottery picks?
This year.
They were not decent this year. The Cleveland Cavaliers.
No, not this year. I'm talking, but you're going to ignore the fact that Kyrie Irving was there. He was there,
but they weren't that relevant.
He was okay.
You want to know something? Hold on. Before we go, I have one more.
Right there. Put that up right there. Thank you.
I just have one more thing. I have one more thing to say before we go. You want to talk about Cleveland here?
Steps back, puts up a 3. Won't go. Rebound tip taken by Spades. Final seconds. It's over. It's over. Cleveland is a city.
Ladies and gentlemen,
listen.
But ladies and gentlemen, there's another truth. There's another truth to why people don't want to play with LeBron James.
Listen to what Mike Breen said.
We don't want to hear what Mike Breen. We're going to get copyrighted.
Talk about a city rallying up behind one man. Listen to what he says.
What? There's one team there. He's from Akron, Ohio. That's a weak statement, Zach. That's a weak statement. That's a weak statement.
Nightmare has ended at the helm of LeBron James going home to the team that drafted him.
He changed a franchise. He did not change the franchise. We're not talking about the Cleveland Cavaliers. We're talking about the Lakers. Like we talk about the Celtics. Like we talk about the Bulls. He did not change the franchise, Zach. Come on now.
Cavaliers were completely changed by LeBron. And once again, after he left, they fell in the basement.
Well, because you know why they fell in the basement? Because poor Kevin Love couldn't handle it no more. That's why.
So Kevin Love went from being an MVP the year before to being nothing when LeBron left. So you're saying LeBron elevates his teammates. All right, that makes sense.
That's his fault.
I guess that's our closing remarks for today. We will have to postpone this.
Kevin Love dealt with injuries. If the Sixers would get him, I'll take him. Ladies and gentlemen, this show's going.
I do like Kevin Love. Good stretch forward.
I do like Kevin Love too. He's a great stretch. Great power. If you can give it for Al Horford, I'll do it. But listen, Zach, the GOAT debate, like this comment says right here, is James good? Yes. Will he ever be the GOAT? No. He never will. Never will be the GOAT. And you can listen, ladies and gentlemen, I pulled this is LeBron James at his finest. This is a LeBron James fan. Ladies and gentlemen, I got nothing left for you. The long sports nightmare is over. Yeah, well, my nightmare.
The drought ended. Anyone that watched that series.
A drought ends every day.
You don't have to think he's the GOAT, but the disrespect that you have for LeBron James as a player is
because of me. The disrespect is because of like people like you, the fans.
Don't let me.
You're disrespecting Yes.
It's you can't deny the greatness of this player. He's the only one that you've seen behind your eyes besides Kobe Bryant.
I'm not denying the greatness. I'm not.
All right.
It's hard to like somebody when the fan base is idiotic and delusional.
Every year, LeBron James continues to trail his legacy. Year 17 now. People called him the GOAT after 2016. He called himself the GOAT after 2016. I don't agree with that. But the past 4 or 5 years have been another superb
but how are you the GOAT?
chapter to his book that is yet to end.
You get dominated. I'm trying to figure it out.
Played one of the greatest dynasties. It took getting Kevin Durant to beat him. That's how scared the Warriors were. All right, everybody. Thank you so much.
They beat him. Oh,
no Kyrie Irving or Kevin Love. No Kyrie Irving or Kevin Love.
Package handed out to the LeBron James in Game 5 versus Draymond Green. They got Draymond Green suspended. There would be no 3-1. Draymond Green was balling that series. Ultimately would have been Finals MVP. I don't want to hear that.
30+ points in Game 7.
That garbage. They beat him without. Listen. LeBron James is a great player. I'm not denying that.
Steph Curry lacked 1 assist because LeBron James blocked Andre Iguodala's shot.
LeBron James
at the end of the game after getting
LeBron James might be second all time. Second. But he'll never be number one. He'll never be number one.
That's some ignorance in my opinion, but we'll see what happens.
6 rings, 6-0.
What does it take for LeBron to become the GOAT? If he plays 25 years and he gets 3 more rings, you're telling me that he can't.
You know what?
Century. That's crazy. It's 8 more years. I don't think it's going to happen. But.
And this is why I don't think he's not even next to Kobe yet. The difference that separates between these two individuals, Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan, from LeBron James, is the fact that they have a three-peat. They have a three-peat.
Why do I know that? Because that's the only thing that you have against him at this point. But the Mavericks also beat Kobe Bryant. I'm sorry. I'm proud of LeBron James to only face the competition in the finals.
You need to watch The Last Dance again. That's what you need to do.
I did watch The Last Dance, and I thought it was a great film.
You got to watch it again. It's on Netflix, Zach. You got to watch it again.
I've watched it, and I have nothing but respect for Michael Jordan. And everyone on here should know my thoughts on where I view currently with LeBron James, and my thoughts are simple. I think that
disrespect is mad real.
I think Michael Jordan's the GOAT, but LeBron James is passing.
You got red on. Zach, you got red on today. It's Bulls color.
That's fine. It looks like you have purple on, but it might not be.
It's Penn State, buddy.
Maybe Penn State.
Are you excited for that? Are you excited for Penn State?
I'm excited. We're going to start covering that next week.
Alrighty. I can't wait. And ladies and gentlemen, remember, Michael Jordan all the way. Come on now.
Thank you for joining us today. We'll plan a day just for a GOAT debate. We'll have some people on to discuss it. But
going to get Trent on here. Going to get Donald on here.
Thank you again, everyone, for joining us.
And McKenna.
Have a great day, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Have a good one, everybody.
If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't. In addition, hit that bell icon and set it to all to get reminded of when we go live and when we post